अक्षरं मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवंश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदं सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखंबितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज kunja-vihari. Gopijana vallabha girivaradhari. Gopijana vallabha girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vallachari. Yamuna Tira Vallachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja-vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava kunja-vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Premanandi, Anima. Hare Krishna. See the timing. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nasta prayesha vadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistike. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. So we're going to read text 16 and 17. But the 16 doesn't have a purpose, so I'm going to read it alone. And the 17 we can repeat the mantra. Śulair gadābhiḥ parighaiḥ śakti-ṛṣṭi-prāsa-tomaraiḥ asibhiḥ paṭṭiśair bāṇaiḥ prāharann arayo harim. The enemies of Lord Hari attacked him with tridents, clubs, bludgeons, pikes, ṛṣtis, barbed darts, lances, swords, axes, and arrows. Text 17. Now please repeat. Kṛṣṇa tutat pauṇḍraka-kāśirājayor Bālam gaja syandana vaji pattimat gadāsi chakre shubir ardayat brisham yata yugante hutabuk pritak prajaha. Kṛṣṇas tutat pauṇḍraka-kāśirājayor Bālam gaja syandana vaji pattimat gadāsi chakre shubir ardayat brisham yata yugante hutabuk pritak prajaha. Please chant.
Kṛṣṇas pauṇḍraka-kāśirājayor. Valam gajasandana vāji patti matu. Rāsi chakre shubhir ādayat vrisham. Yatayugante hudhak prajaha.
Ladies, please. Kṛṣṇa, Lord Kṛṣṇa, to, however, that pauṇḍraka-kāśirājayor of Pauṇḍraka and the king of Kashi, Balam, military force, Gaja, elephants, Syandana, chariots, Vaji, horses, Patti, and infantry, Mat, consisting of Gada, with his club, Asi, sword, Chakra, disc, Ishuvi, and arrows, Ardayat, tormented, Brisham, fiercely, Yata, as, Yuga, of an age of universal history. Ante, at the end, Hutabuk, the fire of universal annihilation. Pritak, of different kinds. Praja, living entities. Translation. But Lord Kṛṣṇa fiercely struck back at the army of pauṇḍraka and Kāśirāja, which consisted of elephants, chariots, cavalry, and infantry. The Lord tormented his enemies with his club, sword, sudarshan, disc, and arrows, just as the fire of annihilation torments the various kinds of creatures at the end of a cosmic age. Purport. Srila Prabhupada comments as follows in Kṛṣṇa. The soldiers on the side of King pauṇḍraka began to shower their weapons upon Kṛṣṇa. The weapons, including various kinds of tridents, clubs, poles, lances, swords, daggers, and arrows, came flying in waves, and Kṛṣṇa counteracted them. He smashed not only the weapons but also the soldiers and assistants of pauṇḍraka. Just as during the dissolution of this universe, the fire of devastation burns everything to ashes. The elephants, chariots, horses, and infantry belonging to the opposite party were scattered by the weapons of Kṛṣṇa. Om Agyanti Mirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble respectful obeisance unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we already know the outcome of this war between Kṛṣṇa and pauṇḍraka and his friends, his assistants. We can see how chivalrous, how heroic Kṛṣṇa is fighting his enemies. So, in the teaching of Lord Kapila, he mentioned a wonderful verse. He said, Satam prasangam mamavirya sambido bhavanti hritkarna rasayanat kata tadyoshanad asho pavargavartmani shradharatir bhaktiranu-krameshyati. That one should hear about the heroic activities of the Lord in the association of devotees. Because that will be very pleasing, not just to the ears, but also to the heart. And also give us relief from our material suffering. And most importantly, at every step, increases our shraddha, faith, ratir, attachment, and bhakti, or devotion to the Lord. Increase step by step. We go on hearing, chanting about the heroic activities of the Lord. Virya means heroic. So Kṛṣṇa is the greatest hero of all. There is no greater hero than Kṛṣṇa. He's wonderful in every way. Either fighting demons, or dancing with the gopis, or playing with his friends. He's always the greatest hero, the most wonderful hero. Once Kṛṣṇa's friends, Madhumangala, told Kṛṣṇa, my dear Kṛṣṇa, you are the hero of all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. You kill demons, you dance with the gopis, you do so many wonderful activities. You are my hero too. Can you please allow me to be Kṛṣṇa for one day? Kṛṣṇa said, yes, you are my dear friend. Take my peacock, take my flute, take my dress, be Kṛṣṇa, be happy. So Madhumangala dressed as Kṛṣṇa and started playing the flute, and he was very happy. And that day, Kamsa sent to Vrindavan the Keshi demon, the horse demon. And Keshi asked Kamsa, I never have seen Kṛṣṇa, can you please describe him to me? Okay, he played the flute, he have a peacock, and he dressed in yellow. So when Keshi arrived in Vrindavan, he saw Madhumangala playing the flute, dressed like Kṛṣṇa with peacock feather. So he was going to attack him. But he tried to kick him, but didn't touch him. Just the wind blew up, and Madhumangala almost fainted and ran to Kṛṣṇa. Take your peacock, take your flute, take care of this demon. I'm frightened. So the more we hear about Kṛṣṇa in the association of devotee, it helps us to increase our love and attachment and faith in him. Faith is the most important aspect of our spiritual life. Faith is the only thing can take us from this side to the other side. You know, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited his dear devotee Hadai Pandit, Hadai Pandit was the father of Nityananda Prabhu. Another devotee, also named Pandit, Gauridas Pandit, he went to visit him, and he gifted him an ore, So he was surprised, my Lord, why you give me this ore? Oh, I want you to help people cross from this side of the material world to the other side, the spiritual world. And Gauridas Pandit said, my Lord, I don't know how to do that. You have to teach me. Then the Lord, with his own hand, wrote the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita for him. It's still there. They are kept there. So, it is very important to understand that this Kṛṣṇa consciousness is to help us become purified. That's the whole process about. Unless we become purified, we can't develop our love for Kṛṣṇa. We can't develop attachment to Kṛṣṇa. And how can we achieve that? By continuously hearing in the association of devotees about Kṛṣṇa's name, Kṛṣṇa's qualities, Kṛṣṇa's activities. That's the only way. There is no other way. No? So it is very important when we come together, help each other to remember Kṛṣṇa. Today we are, actually there's a disappearance day of Vasudev Ghosh, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he had two other brothers, Govinda is one of them, and Madhava. So all of them were very expert singers, and Lord Nityananda will dance every time they will lead the kirtan, very happily. So one pastime of Vasudev Ghosh, he will go every year to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Chaitanya take part in the Jagannath Ratha Yatra. But after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vasudev Ghosh was so much feeling separation from the Lord that he started to open his own samadhi. He started to dig the earth to make his own samadhi. And after digging that, he started in the hole there waiting to die. But then Lord Chaitanya appeared to him and touched him and told him, no, I don't want you to die. Get up and engage in my loving service. So, and Vasudev Ghosh composed beautiful songs. I will share one of them with you. You may know it, of course. Yadi gaura na hoito, tabe ki hoito, kemone daritam de, radhara mahima prema rasa sima, jagate janatoke. If Lord Gaura had not appeared as the Yuga Avatar in this age of Kali, then what would have become of us? How could we have tolerated living? Who in this universe would have learned about the topmost limits of loving mellows that comprise the glory of Sri Radha? So unless Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will have come, we will not have learned about the glories of the topmost limit of loving mellows that are the glories of Srimati Radharani. So, recently went to Imli Tala, the tamarind tree is still there. I remember many years ago, I visited Vrindavan, was alive, it has a green leaves on it, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived in Vrindavan, actually in Braja Bhumi, he asked people, which forest is Vrindavan? There are 12 forests. Which one of them is Vrindavan? Nobody knew. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discovered Vrindavan when he found this Imli Tala tree. He went under that tree, hugged the tree, sat under the shade of that tree and started crying in love for Kṛṣṇa, feeling his separation. So now under that tree, sometime Kṛṣṇa will sit down waiting for Radharani. They had a rendezvous under that tree, and sometimes she will be a little late. So Kṛṣṇa's intense loving separation from her will turn his bluish body into a golden body. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat under that tree, and he was feeling so much love and separation from Kṛṣṇa, that his golden body became dark blue like Kṛṣṇa's body. So, Vrindavan is the eternal abode of the Lord, is none different from the Lord, is as worshipful as the Lord himself. And I'm going to read a quote from Prabhupada about Vrindavan. The best forest is Vrindavan, where one need not live with the animals but can associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who never leaves Vrindavan. Cultivating Krishna consciousness in Vrindavan is the best means of being liberated from material bondage. For in Vrindavan, one can automatically meditate upon Krishna. Vrindavan has many temples, and in one or more of these temples, one may see the form of the Supreme Lord as Radha Krishna or Krishna Balaram, and meditate upon this form. As expressed here by the words, Brahmani Adhyaya, one shall concentrate one's mind upon the Supreme Lord, Parabrahman. This Parabrahman is Krishna, as confirmed by Arjuna and Bhagavad Gita. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam. Krishna and his abode, Vrindavan, are not different. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam. Vrindavan is as good as Krishna. Therefore, if one somehow or other gets the opportunity to live in Vrindavan, and if one is not a pretender, but simply lives in Vrindavan and concentrates his mind upon Krishna, one is liberated from material bondage. This is from the purport of Srila Prabhupada, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 9:19-19. So this word, not to be pretender, is very important here. Because some people may live in Vrindavan, but they are pretending to be devotees, to be Krishna conscious, but their mind is absorbed in material activities, and sense enjoyment. So they may believe in Vrindavan and the surface of Vrindavan, which is made of Mahamaya, covering the dam, from cheaters and pretenders like that. Like Narottam Das Thakur in prayer said, Vishaya Chariya Kave Shuddha Veman Kaveha Moheravo Shri Vrindavan. I will be able to see really Vrindavan when my mind will be free from all material hankerings, material attachments. So this is the key. If somebody can't live physically in Vrindavan, he has to be somewhere else. At least in his mind can remember Vrindavan, can remember the activities of the Brajavasis and feel separation from Krishna, following in their footsteps. That's the secret of devotional service. The more we hear and chant and remember about Krishna, we shall be free, our heart shall be free from all this material hankering and attachments. Remember the pastime of Madhavendra Puri departing from this world? He was lamenting, I'm dying, not achieving the goal of my life. And one of his disciples, Ishvara Puri, was helping him, assisting him in every way, in all his needs, material and spiritual. He was reciting Krishna's pastime for him, reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam for him. And another of his disciples, who remember his name? Ramachandra Puri. He also came to see his guru dying, and he dared to instruct his guru. He said, Guru Dev, why you're lamenting? Fix your mind in Brahman. What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita that say one symptom of a realized person? Anybody remember? Correct, that's the verse. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kanshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. So he was trying to teach his guru, no? Na sochati na kanshati, don't lament. Fix your mind in Brahman. Madhavendra Puri rejected him. He said, leave immediately this place, because if I die seeing your face, I will not achieve the goal of my life. Go away. I mean, he could not understand lamentation for Krishna is not material. Lamentation for achieving the goal of life is spiritual, is transcendental. I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he was doing, he was crying for Krishna all day. Mayavadis can understand that, how crying can be a pleasure. Crying is a pleasure. It's difficult for people to understand that. Even if you hear the story of Ramayana, I mean, it seemed like very sad story. He was exiled. His wife was kidnapped by Ravan, and then after killing Ravan and getting back his wife, he had to send her back to exile. Seemed like a very sad story. But Hanuman gets so much joy. Wherever there is a recitation of Ramayana, he goes there in disguise to hear it. Why? Because these activities are part of the internal energy of the Lord. The loving affairs of the Lord are not like the loving affairs in the material world. It may seem similar, some lamentation, crying is there, but there is a great happiness and pleasure to miss the loved one. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach all living entities, how to love Kṛṣṇa missing him, feeling his separation, while chanting his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I remember some years ago, I was giving Bhagavatam class here in Vrindavan, and at the time of question, one Russian lady, she asked me this question. She said, why does Kṛṣṇa likes us to chant his name? What is the reason he likes us to chant his name? And I thought for a minute, and I answered, and I told her, in the Maha Mantra, when we say Hare, which is Radharani, Hare, then that pleases Kṛṣṇa very much, because it's the name of his most beloved. And when we say Kṛṣṇa, that is very pleasing to Radharani. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we are pleasing both the divine couple, Radha and Kṛṣṇa. And she said, I never heard such an explanation. I said, me either. It just came to me. But later on, I found it in one of Jiva Goswami's book, the same explanation. So I thought, wow, actually Paramatma is real, is there in the heart. And from him comes remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. Everything we want to know. Sometimes you want to remember a verse, something is difficult, and suddenly come without any effort. So that's the proof that it's not under our control. Kṛṣṇa wants us to understand that we are not controller. We are being controlled by the material energy in the form of the three gunas. But when we engage in devotional service, we are trying to take shelter in the internal energy of the Lord. And when one is like that, surrendering to the Lord, it's a really, really very, very beautiful feeling, very, very safe feeling. So, I like one quote from Prabhupada he sent to one disciple in a letter. He said to him the following. He said, I may inform you that there is a Bengali proverb, fruits like chestnuts and pomegranate or similar other valuable fruits and nuts take some time to be fructified. So any good thing comes in our possession after a hard struggle and endeavor. So Kṛṣṇa consciousness is the greatest of all good fruits. We must therefore have necessary endurance and enthusiasm to get the result. We shall never be disappointed when things are presented in the reversed order. Anyway, your honest labor is now coming to be fructified. Always depend upon Kṛṣṇa and go on working with enthusiasm, patience, and conviction. So, Kṛṣṇa doesn't want us to take it easy. He wants us to make an effort, suffer hardship to get his mercy. It's a very important thing. It's not an easygoing process, Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Once Rananath Swami told me a story. He went to visit in the U.S. Shiva Shaiva's ashram. And he was surprised, everything so well organized. You know, there were ashrams, you know, for the inmates, everything nicely clean, everything nice economy, everything was very first class. He was surprised. And he asked the person in charge, how can we do in our temples like this? And the man smiled. He said, don't expect that. Lord Shiva blesses followers to have material opulence, but your Kṛṣṇa is different. He doesn't like us devotee take it easy. He wants them to go through difficulty so they can appreciate more, you know, the spiritual. That's what Shukadeva Goswami was asked by Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit asked him that question. Why we see the devotees of Lord Shiva are very opulent, doing well in the material world, but devotees of Vishnu or Krishna are generally not doing so well. Why is that? And Shukadeva Goswami said, the opulence of the followers of Lord Shiva are due to the three modes of nature. But the opulence, that spiritual opulence that devotees receive are the Krishna's mercy toward them. That's everlasting. Doesn't finish with this body. Goes on forever. So that's the beauty of Bhakti. It seemed that it started at a certain point in our life. We were not Krishna conscious, and then we started practicing Bhakti. But once you started, it never finished. It's forever. When Prabhupada visited Mexico, in one class he said, oh, this is very nice. You came to practice Krishna consciousness, and I hope you can make it in this life. But even if some of you can't follow your real life, you just do it for some time, there is no loss. Everything you do is for your eternal good. Prabhupada also said, I created this Krishna conscious movement to give opportunity to everyone to practice Bhakti Yoga at least for some time. So there is no loss diminution in this process. Of course, the more we surrender to Krishna, the more we engage in Bhakti and give it up or material attachment, the more we make further progress toward the end, the latest, the most important goal of life. Prema Pumarto Maha, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the highest goal of life is to achieve Krishna Prema, love of Krishna. That's the highest goal of life. So that is not an easy thing to get, because Krishna can give easily material opulence, even mystic powers, or even moksha, liberation, but he doesn't give so easily love, prem for him, pure love for him, because then he's bound by that love, he's controlled by that love. Once Prabhupada was speaking with the impersonalist. He wanted to be one with God. Prabhupada told him, you should be even more than God. The man was surprised. How, it's possible to be more? Yes, Mother Yashoda was controlling Krishna by her love. Yeah? So this is the secret, no? I mean to say, even servant at Yashoda's house will tell Krishna, Krishna, if you dance for me, I will give you some sweets, some lado. It's a servant at the house. And to please her, Krishna will dance. So Krishna is controlled by this love and nothing else, you know. When the fruit vendor came to Krishna's house and she exchanged a few grains in Krishna's hand for the fruit, and she went and she felt the heavy and she saw all the jewels, and you know what she did with them? She threw them in the Yamuna and brought more fruit for Krishna. And Krishna said, shall I bring you more grain? No, I want something else. What do you want? Krishna asked. And the old lady, she said, I want you to sit in my lap and look at my face and call me Maya, mother. Kṛṣṇa looked around, Yashoda wasn't there around. Okay, he sat on the lap and he called her Maya, and her heart melted in love for Kṛṣṇa. So, and after that, he was always chanting Kṛṣṇa's holy name, Kṛṣṇa's glories, and she went back home, back to Godhead in that same life. So, Kṛṣṇa doesn't want his devotee to take it easy. He wants them to endeavor with. Prabhupada said when we visited our temple in South America, Venezuela, he said, he quoted Rupa Goswami, Utsahan nishchayat daryat tat karma pravartanat. He said, Utsahan, enthusiasm is very, very important. If enthusiasm is lost, everything is lost. We have to keep enthusiasm. And he said, enthusiasm means, I must see Kṛṣṇa in this very life. He said, you are seeing Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa and his deity not different. It's absolute. But even personally, it is possible. Once devotee asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, how can I know I am pleasing Kṛṣṇa? Prabhupada said, when you will see him, you will know. So, I mean, that's the perfection, to have darshan of the Lord. Here in Vrindavan, one old Babaji was living, and he was serving Radha Krishna's deities in the temple. He will clean the temple, help in every way, and he will chant the holy name all day, crying for Krishna's mercy. He cried so much, he became blind. And one day he stood in front of the altar of Radha Krishna and started complaining to Krishna. Krishna, you are so hard-hearted. I've been serving you all life, crying, became blind of so much crying. But you don't want to give me your mercy. What can I do? And Radharani, because of your association with him, you also became hard-hearted like him. So Radharani could not tolerate this. So she spoke to him. Baba, what do you want? What do you want from us? He said, I want to have your darshan. I want to see you. But if we appear unto you, you will not be able to see us. You are blind. Well, if each one of you put his hand on my eyes, in each eye, then I will be able to see your wonderful, beautiful, eternal form. So Radharani told Kṛṣṇa, please, let us give him the mercy. That was the perfection of his life. So, of course, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he also said, don't try to see Kṛṣṇa, act in such a way that he will see you. When Prabhupada gave me initiation in 1975 in Venezuela, Caracas, he gave me the name Jagat Chakshur Das. Shrutakirti was there. And Prabhupada explained to the people the meaning. He said, Jagat means the universe, and Chakshur means the eye. Das, the servant. And he explained to the people that God is the eye of the world. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you must always remember that God's sight is on you. And then he looked back at me while pointing his finger, and he said with this voice, you cannot hide from the eyes of God. Everybody was looking at me. Maybe he did something wrong. And I thought to myself, Prabhupada can read the mind. Because few days before, I went to the kitchen very early in the morning and I stole a Mahaburfi. I was hiding eating, nobody's watching me. Prabhupada caught me up. So, I mean, that changed my life because I always remember I always have to behave nicely. because Krishna's eye is always on me. My Prabhupada made me always remember that. Well, I mean, in our religion, they say you should fear God. But in our philosophy is loving God. In one morning walk in the park in South America, one student, devotee student, told Prabhupada, our professor at university, he said that this idea that God exists is man-made because out of fear of death. Prabhupada told him, you tell your professor that we think of God because fear of death, then let him solve the problem of death. We don't care about God anymore. But don't ask us to stop thinking of God without first solving the problem of death. Is he not afraid of death? If somebody can kill him, rob him? Oh yes, no, please take everything, don't harm me. So that means there is supreme power we can't control. It's beyond our control. No matter how powerful you are, how rich, how beautiful, you can't overcome this. You know the famous filmmaker Woody Allen? He was interviewed once, and he was asked, we hear that you are very pessimistic. Is it true? He said, yes. Why? You are rich, you are famous. Why you're pessimistic? Well, since we are born, we have a death sentence on our head. And doesn't matter how rich, beautiful, powerful you are, you can't take it away. So isn't it a good reason to be pessimistic? They say, well, yes. So Prabhupada said we have to be very pessimistic about the material world. He said, if you are not pessimistic about the material world, you're an animal, he said. Yes, animals are ignorant. They don't know. They think you're enjoying life. But we are very optimistic about spiritual life. We want eternal happiness. Everybody looking for happiness. Materialistic and spiritual people are both looking for happiness. But those materialistic, they're looking for it in the wrong place. And those who are spiritualists are trying to find it in the right place. Like that. So, I would like to hear from you. If you have any comment or questions, please do. Mike, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for an inspiring class. You have mentioned the question was asked to Srila Prabhupada, when will I know that I'm pleasing Lord Kṛṣṇa? And when you will do, then you will know it. That's what I heard. On those thoughts, I similar question on spiritual decision making. When we make some decisions, am I making it to please Kṛṣṇa or please myself? So I was given a very simple checkpoint that if you are really pleasing Kṛṣṇa, there will be joy and peace in your heart that you never experienced before. And that's a sign from Paramatma that you are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, of course, I agree with that, definitely. Prabhupada gave the example, if you stand in front of a mirror and you put a necklace on you, the mirror also has a reflection of the mirror, of the necklace. So if Kṛṣṇa is pleased with our service, naturally we will feel satisfaction. No? Kṛṣṇa tushte jagat tushte. Kṛṣṇa is pleased, the whole universe is pleased. Yes. Panchagoda Prabhu, yes.
Whoever you are.
So Kṛṣṇa, he's giving us remembrance and forgetfulness, and so when you get old and you start forgetting, does that mean Kṛṣṇa's just like cutting back on us, or what's happening?
Well, I meant to say, we shall pray to Kṛṣṇa that even I forget everything, at least don't allow me to forget you. I forget names all the time. It took me a little while to remember your name now. So I understood I'm getting older now, and you keep forgetting things sometimes, unwillingly. But the point is we have to always pray to Kṛṣṇa, please, no matter what, don't allow me to forget you. I will share with you an experience I had many years ago. I had a surgery, and I had to go through full anesthesia. So I prayed to Kṛṣṇa before that, my dear Lord, even if I'm unconscious, don't allow me to forget you, you know. I try sincerely to pray to Kṛṣṇa like that. And after the surgery, I was still under the effect of anesthesia. One devotee was with me, and he told me what happened. He said, they were taking me to the room for recovery, whatever, and in the way, a nurse was with us, and I was talking a lot. And the nurse told him, oh, all of them, they do blubbing, you know, nonsense blubbing. But he started hearing what I was saying. And I was saying, you are not the body or spirit soul. You have to surrender to Kṛṣṇa. Life is temporarily full of miseries. I was giving Bhagavad Gita class. And then in the room, I was still unconscious, half unconscious, but I woke up completely when I heard somebody shouting loudly, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And to my surprise, I was shouting Hare Kṛṣṇa unconsciously. I mean, I woke myself by chanting unconsciously the holy name. So I thought, wow, there is hope, you know. If we practice, there is hope. Even unconsciously, we can remember Kṛṣṇa. So everything we are learning in this life will be put to test at the time of death. How much really we are attached to Kṛṣṇa. How much are we detached from the material world. That will be put into test at the time of death. So we have to practice to remember Kṛṣṇa throughout all day. Try not to forget him. Prabhupada said the disease is sense gratification. The disease is personal ambition, he said. Personal ambition. Our ambition should be live with devotees, with Vaishnavas, serve or Guru Maharaj, serve the Vaishnavas. That will be our only ambition. Any other comments, questions? Yes. They're in the back first. There's somebody there in the back first. Raise their hand.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept my obeisances. You mentioned about surrender, and we can make spiritual progress if we surrender more. Now, my question is for those who have families and for the Vaishnavis.
Yes.
With families, attachments are very strong. So how can we surrender even though we have so many attachments?
That's a very good question. I've been asked this question a few times by Grihastha devotees. And I mentioned that we have to try to follow the example of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was also married with many children and had a job and big family. But he always prayed to Kṛṣṇa, my dear Kṛṣṇa, if I have to work to maintain this family, this house, this because these are your children, this is your house, this is your wife, I'm only here your servant. So it doesn't matter in what condition one may be, grihastha or brahmachari or sannyasi, vanaprastha, whatever, if one always remember everything belongs to Kṛṣṇa, everything is for his pleasure, everything is for his service, engage the family member in Kṛṣṇa's service, then family life is also Vaikuntha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur say, one day I saw my home Vaikuntha. But when we get into the idea they belong to me, they have to obey me in everything like that, then there's a problem. That's the problem. We tend to forget that we are not the owners, the enjoyers of our family. Rather, should be everyone engaged in pleasing Kṛṣṇa, loving Kṛṣṇa. That's the secret. It's difficult, I understand, when somebody has to deal with the material world, with family, society, jobs, and all this. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if you have in the morning good sadhana, even the material activity becomes spiritualized. So that's the secret. That's the secret. Hare Krishna. All right.
Question that Maharaj asked. Maharaj, just one comment on the question that Maharaj is asked. In Hare Krishna, we have a project called Grihastha Vision Team, headed by senior Grihasthas of the movement, GVT, Grihastha Vision Team. A team of senior devotees, senior leaders of Hare Krishna, who want to help strong Grihastha families. And in their book, they have a mission statement, the bonds that liberate us. Prabhupada has given a statement that if his family is spiritual, then with his bonds will eventually liberate us. Because at the time of death, hopefully my wife, my children will help me remember Kṛṣṇa. So I just wanted to make that comment. And the question that I have is, I heard you saying bhajan, you mentioned briefly about Yadi Gaurangana Hoite.
Yes.
Can you kindly tell a little more about, I have heard about, but don't know much about it.
All right, I will read it again and the translation. Of course. All right, here it is. Yadi gaura no hoito take vi hoito ke monedaritam de radhara mahima ras prema rasa sima jagate janatoke. If Lord Gaura had not appeared as the Yuga avatar in this age of Kali, then what would have become of us? How could we have tolerated living? Who in this universe would have learned about the topmost limits of loving mellows that comprise the glory of Sri Radha? Then he said another verse. Madhura brinda vipina madhuri pravesha chaturisar varaja yuvati baver bakati sakati hoitokar. Who would have had the power to render ecstatic devotional service that follows in the footstep of the damsel of Braj? Indeed, the clever expertise of the Braja Gopis is the prerequisite for entering the supremely sweet forest of Vrindavan. Following the footsteps of the Braja Gopis, how they loved Kṛṣṇa, how they felt separation from him, how they cried for him. That's the special gift of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not given before. It's not given before. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. I just wanted some clarification because I think you mentioned that Kṛṣṇa does want us to suffer. But you were obviously saying that he wants us to work hard to, it's not easy. We can see that a lot of people have a problem with that. And of course, Kṛṣṇa says, I am not the cause of anyone's suffering or enjoyment. Samoham sarvabhuteshu, I'm equal to everyone. So sometimes I have a hard time hearing that because it sounds like an Abrahamic, God condemns you if you don't listen to me. And you must somehow martyr yourself. You must suffer to attain God. So just wanted a bit of clarification. Is that a process that to me it seems like...
Very good question. A very important question. I mean, we should always remember Haridas Thakur suffered, Prahlad Maharaj suffered, the Pandavas suffered, and they were the greatest devotees. So why we should expect no suffering being devotees. I remember once a new girl devotee wrote Prabhupada a letter, and the letter she wrote, my dear Srila Prabhupada, I've been chanting 16 rounds and follow the four regulatory principles for the last 6 months. Can you please tell me why I still get cold? So, we can't contradict the laws of nature.
But
Things have to happen in the way, I mean, like you said correctly, we are creating our own happiness, our own distress by our own activities. But sometimes we are surprised, even advanced devotees, sometimes they are suffering from a disease or severe sickness. We get bewildered. Why Kṛṣṇa is allowing this to happen? So the answer to that is that devotees, the attitude that we should have, remember that verse by Lord Brahma? Tattenu kampam shamik shamano bunjana vatma kritam vipakam hridapa buddhir vidahan namaste jiveta yomukti pade sadayabak. That devotees should always see their suffering in this light. That because of my past misdeed, I should be suffering even more. But since I'm trying to be Kṛṣṇa consciousness, Kṛṣṇa is diminishing what I actually should be suffering. And also suffering actually purify the devotee.
yeah.
I mean, when we suffer severely, we are burning karma from many lifetimes. Thousands of lifetimes we are burning all this bad karma by suffering. Suffering is good. It's like a book account, good karma, bad karma. When we enjoy, we diminish the good karma. When we suffer, we diminish the bad karma. So if we suffer, for devotees everything is multiplied. So if we suffer, it means we are burning all bad karma, which is a good thing. It helps us to become more detached from the material world. We should not expect everything is going to go smoothly, in our spiritual life. This is the material world. I always get in news, this devotee got sick, this devotee is in the hospital, what we shall do, how we shall take it. Devotee get confused. Why they shall get confused? Welcome to the material world. This is the place. This place is not for happiness. That's the important thing we have to understand. Material world is not for a place to be happy. There's no such thing in the material world. Only with Kṛṣṇa we can be happy. That's the point. If we are Kṛṣṇa conscious, we can be happy, even in the material world. And if suffering come, okay, let it come. More purification. Especially here in Vrindavan, everything is multiplied by 1,000 times. Prabhupada said that. So if suffering, that means you're burning much more karma than if you were somewhere else. So we should take it in that light. What do you think?
Yes, of course, that makes complete sense. I think my question is a little bit more about, does Kṛṣṇa want us to suffer?
Why will Kṛṣṇa want us to suffer? Kṛṣṇa doesn't want us to suffer. He wants us to be happily with Him, enjoying eternal blissful life and His loving service.
Right. So that was
we wanted to enjoy separately from Kṛṣṇa, and that's why He created this material world. It is our fault.
Right.
I remember one story happened in Germany. One new devotee, devotee were encouraging him to surrender, come live in the temple with us. But he said, I have one doubt. Unless I clear the doubt, I will not surrender. And Prabhupada came to Germany and he asked the question, Prabhupada, why Kṛṣṇa created Maya if he knew that we would be attracted to her? And Prabhupada looked at him and said, no, Kṛṣṇa didn't create Maya. You created Maya. Because you wanted to enjoy separately from Kṛṣṇa, He created Maya for you. So it is your fault, not Kṛṣṇa's fault. And he surrendered to Kṛṣṇa, to Prabhupada, and he now is Satchidananda Swami. So, we should not put the fault on Krishna. We should always take the fault on us.
That was
Something
the point.
wrong with us, not with Krishna. Yes, here. Last question. Maharaj want to ask, comment something.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Once Uddhava asked Lord Krishna why the living entities are suffering in the world. Krishna asked Uddhava, who's suffering? The body suffering or the soul suffering? Uddhava was not able to answer that. Krishna says that the body is a dead element. So naturally has got no any suffering here. And the soul is enlightened, Satchidananda, and is also not suffering. Who's suffering in real? He says, all's in the mind.
Yes, because we are living in this body, we have to experience what the body experiences. The soul is inside the body, and because the soul identifies with the body, then it suffers. Paritushyati sharira, vyasadev, Narad Munyas, vyasadev. It pleases you to identify the soul with the body and the mind. So the whole things about ahankar, identification with the body, that make us suffer even more. Doesn't mean self-realized devotee will not feel suffering. They also feel suffering, but much less than a materialistic person, because they know I'm not this body. I'm not just theoretically. Prabhupada said it's not enough to know we are not the body. We have to experience that we are not the body, we are the soul. And this can only be achieved by engaging in the soul's eternal activity. Jaiva Dharma. The eternal function of the soul is the only way to overcome our material suffering. Once and forever. We want a permanent solution, eternal solution to all the suffering of the world. And that's why we are trying to practice and give others Krishna consciousness. To give them eternal relief from suffering.
And Uddhava asked Lord Krishna again, are you the real friend of the Pandavas? Krishna says, why you're doubting about it? He says, if you are a real friend, means you have to explain what is a real friend means. Krishna says, good and bad time, the friend is always there. But when the Pandavas went for gambling, you are not there to help them. Krishna says, I was there all the time. But he says, to become victory in life, one should use their wisdom. He said, theoretical knowledge alone is not going to bring out one from any kinds of suffering. He says, at the time of gambling, Duryodhan had the wisdom, but Yudhishthira did not have the wisdom. Duryodhan knew that he will not be able to play the dice game. He's not an expert. He called his uncle Sakuni to play on behalf of him. And Yudhishthira have forgotten about me. I'm uncle of Yudhishthira. Just like Duryodhan has called Sakuni, Yudhishthira should have called me. If I and Sakuni play the game, you think we will win the game? He says to become successful in life, one should use wisdom. So in a similar way that we understand that a theoretical knowledge alone is not going to eliminate any kinds of suffering in the world. The wisdom given by Lord Krishna will be the ultimate source. And the problem is that forgetfulness of Krishna. Krishna says, I was there. But Yudhishthira did not recognize me at that time. That is why he has forgotten in the game.
All right, thank you. Can you please summarize what he said? I could not understand everything he said. Yeah, please. You was next to him. Did you got everything he said?
Well, he just supported what you said.
Okay.
He supported that you said theory is not enough, that I'm not the body. That's what you said, Maharaj. You said that the theory, I'm not this body, I'm spirit, soul, is not sufficient. That's what you said.
Yeah, to know just theoretically is not enough. We have to experience it. Prabhupada said that.
Yeah. And then Bhakti Mukunda Swami just supported you in giving more evidence about it.
Yeah.
So he supported you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.